Can you take one for me as well?
Yeah, we've got a show up now, so for a short a big show.
You're
Yeah, last one. Yeah, definitely the last one sold out. Second week in January, 1,000 people. Very small world classic, so move on to
It's a shit form, this, isn't it?
fucking hell speaking. Hold on. That's alright. Well, who's let one go? You know. Oh, it's you, burping. Would you have a fucking curry?
Ed, Quigg and Scott Warren sat there.
Yeah.
He says he best retire because he's fucking shy.
I thought it was a fight of two tales. One was a guy that weren't at his best anymore, and one was a guy who boxed really, really well with good movement. You know, you take defeat in the same way you should take victory, which is respect your opponent and the winner in this case. But you know, you saw a performance from Scott Quigg which showed that the timing weren't there anymore. You know, and we were just talking about Carroll. He's gone now because he probably thought I was going to bring it up. But you saw the same thing when Ant boxed, you know, against Urquiaja here in his last fight. You saw a guy who's forcing it. You know, so it's a bit like, although it's nothing like it, in some sports that you play, it don't matter if it's tennis or if it's cricket or things that rely on timing, you know when it ain't there. But unfortunately, there's no worse place to be, I can imagine, than in the ring when your timing goes. He's probably thinking, cricket? Fucking hell. But it's right, you know, there's no hiding place, is there? It's just a situation where it gets increasingly more difficult as the fight goes on.
Just want to say thank you, people like you.
Best of luck on anything you're going to do. All the best.
Thank you for sharing the ring, mate. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Tim.
Well done, mate.
God bless.
So yeah, and I think that it was just a case of, you know, after 4 or 5 rounds, he's never been the fastest starter in the world, Scott. Don't mind me saying this, but sometimes takes him a little bit to find his range and his timing, apart from when he boxed Kiko Martinez. And tonight, even through 3 or 4 rounds, I was thinking,
Fluke.
Yeah, probably was a fluke that one, actually. But I think, even after 3 or 4 rounds, I wasn't overly concerned. You could see his timing weren't quite there, but he's been out of the ring for a long time. So you hope that as the fight goes on, he starts to find his range, etc. And he didn't, you know. And he was trying, and then he got to 8 and 9, and it was more frustration after that, where it was like you could see the look on his face as if to say, "Fuck." And I remember seeing Crawler as well, same kind of thing, look on his face as if to say, "Oh, you know, I know what I want to do and I know what I should be doing, but I just can't make it happen tonight." And he would have gone for fucking 400 rounds in there tonight. He wasn't really hurt in the fight, but he was getting hit too much. Joe made the right decision. I knew it's a tough decision for Joe, because I know the last thing he'd ever want is to be pulled out of the fight or a towel coming. But you got to do what you got to do, and it was 100% the right decision, because it got to a stage where you're not going to win the fight. And if you're not going to win the fight, and your timing's not there, and you're getting hit too much, done. And I'm pleased that this happened in Manchester and not 4 fights down a card in America, you know, with a few Brits there. You know, he got to come here, great crowd, thank you to everyone who come, great energy in there tonight. And he got to bow out at Manchester Arena, a place that's, you know, he's given some great nights to, and a place that's been very important for his career. And you know, he's another one of the success stories, like Crawler in there, who can leave the sport with houses paid for, with money in the bank, with world championships up on the wall, with memories, and with his health. And that's the most important thing. So whilst it's a sad time, it's also a time where you should be celebrating and say, I'm done. And I'm leaving this fucking horrible sport, which is brutally tough, inside and outside the ring, but more so a million times inside, where these guys have to go through hell and back in the training.
Especially with these promoters these days.
Exactly. Well, especially having to deal with you. Fucking hell. Rottweiler, in and out of the ring. He's the only person I'm probably scared of. I'm not inside the ring, outside the ring. But it doesn't matter what you do in your life. If you can look yourself in the mirror when you're done and say, I couldn't have done any more. He couldn't have trained any harder. He couldn't have. He never went out. He never pissed it up the wall. He never put on weight and got fat and was ill-disciplined. You know, Joe would have asked him to fuck off from the gym time after time again. He'd be back. You know, he got every ounce out of his career. Every ounce. You won British. You won European. No. You won World. You unified the division. You challenged for the world title in LA. You got a win in America with Boston. You come back. You headline Manchester Arena again. There could be no regrets. Not one regret. Not one regret. And as long as you can look yourself in the mirror when it's all done, doesn't matter what you do. Boxing, fucking lawyer, footballer, doesn't matter. If you can say to yourself, I gave it everything. Didn't give it 110%. Gave it 150%. He was obsessed with his career, obsessed with improving, and obsessed with hard work. And that means that you're a good man. And that means that he's the most stubborn man I've ever met. Ever met. We had a conversation fucking this week talking about stuff. Fucking, he's relentless, you know. But he had, like I said, he had a great career, and any time I can see him or Crawler or anyone we work with leave the sport in shape with, like I said, and I know fans get pissed off talking about money and stuff like that. That's what it's about in this sport for these guys. I know they want to win world titles, I know they want to create legacy, but if you don't leave the sport in a good financial place, it's a tough life from there. You're retiring at 30 years old, 31, 32. That's what I said, the hardest thing for him will be, what's he going to do now? Because it was his entire life. It weren't just part of his life, it was his entire life. And actually, as the years have gone on, probably the last couple of years, it's actually become a little bit less of his life because of the injury, you know? And that's probably taken a little bit of oomph out of him because it's been very frustrating for him. You know, the one before Saudi was a real kick in the nuts because that was the comeback, and obviously he had the injury again. Don't know how the arm felt tonight, but I know it ain't 100%, but it never is going to be. But, you know, again, disappointing, but happy time, you know. Happy time that he can leave and, you know, he can come to the shows and we can say, you've done it all, mate. You've done it all. You won the world title. There's nothing more to do. Won the world title, tried to unify, made your money, bought your houses, went out to America, probably got a place over there and all. This bloke, to be honest with you, he's one of the tightest men I've ever met. So there's no way he spent a penny of the fucking money. I bet he's got every penny that I've ever paid him still sitting there in the bank. So he's going to be good for life.
I'm living on interest.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly. I know you. So it's
this relationship has worked though, Scott, you and Eddie, hasn't it, over the years?
You know, I mean, like I say, he didn't like me half of the time because, but it's worked. You know, he hated dealing with me, but he respected me. I respected him, and it worked. You know, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have wanted to do it being promoted by anybody else. You know, he's always done right by me, and so it's been fun along the way as well.
We've had some great times. I mean, you know, the Kiko Martinez fight was a great night. I remember when you boxed Salinas the first time, I got a draw. I was like, and when I talk about starting slow, fuck me, you started slow.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
No, because I just remembered it now. No, Munoz, I mean, but the Kiko Martinez fight was a big breakout night. The Frampton fight, whilst it didn't go how we wanted it to go, and I think kick yourself because you could have won that fight, but the whole experience, you know, when the build up, going to Dublin, Belfast, here we were laughing earlier, weren't we, saying no one was allowed to use this changing room because we were all fucking arguing. Frampton went in and built his change room in there, spent about $5,000 on fucking white settees and stuff like that. The cheque in the office, remember? Here it is, £1.5 million, you know. That was a great time. Even the experience in America fighting Valdez. I mean, fuck me, you're a tough fucker because that night against Valdez, you took the kitchen fucking sink. The kitchen sink in that fight. I know you did. Yeah, but you also come in about stone heavy. So, you know, but that was, again, that was a tough little weekend because he came in and he's so professional. When he came in £3 overweight, it was a shocker for everybody. He had a bad foot, he should probably have never even fought in that camp, couldn't train properly, came in. But when I talk about stubborn fucker, this is like where the bloke comes up to me and says, right, he's £3 over, it's disgusting. I say, I couldn't agree more. And he says, what's he going to do about it? I said, absolutely fuck all. He said, well, it's not fair. He said, he's either got to weigh in the morning or he's got to pay 50 grand. I went, all right. I said, I think they're both fair. Let me go and ask him. Scott, you've got this situation here. Basically, I think I could probably get away with one. which one do you fancy? None. Tell him to fuck off. So I went back, it's really embarrassing, but he said, fuck off. Well, there's no fight then. I said, all right, let me go and speak to him. They said there's no fight. Fuck off then, there's no fight. So I went back, I said, really sorry, I told you there's no fucking fight. He went, all right, fight's off. I went, okay. Went back, told him, he's like, well, what are they going to do? They're going to fight. Come back, the geezer went, what about 25 grand? I went, that's very fair of you. Let me go and speak to Scott. Scott, really important, mate. It's 25 grand. I mean, this is more than fair. You've come in £3 over. It's a liberty. Tell them to fuck off. Anyway, in the end, they just swallowed it. Do you know what I mean? But that's him. He stands by his morals, and he knew that he was, although it weren't his fault, he knew that he was in the wrong. But that's what he's dealing with, and that's actually why he achieved what he did, because he was stubborn, and he would always get the max out of what he had, and he was stubborn in and out of the ring. Sorry, I shouldn't really say this, but I'm talking about him like he's fucking deceased. No, sorry about it.
He's there.
He's there.
He's fucking there.
He was a great man, Scott Quigg. Yeah, he was a tight fucker. He was. Well, he's a tight fucker. But that's why he will live a great life, because he's looked after himself, he's looked after his money, and I hope he stays in boxing. In some shape, because he's got loads of knowledge. He knows exactly what it takes. And any fighter, we deal with fighters who fuck around, who don't train properly, who cut corners. Scott knows all of them, and he can see it a mile off. And any of them should just look at Scott Quigg, because some have more talent than Scott Quigg. He won't mind me saying it. There's fighters out there a lot more naturally gifted than Scott Quigg, who've not even got 5% out of their career that Scott Quigg got. It's because he lived a life.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Eddie,
Fuck off.
Scott. Cool, swearing a bit tonight, aren't you? Ed, just kind of picking this back up, obviously you spoke about Scott there, but yeah, the rest of the card, let's just kind of run through it. Hughie Fury.
I thought Hughie Fury boxed great. I mean, I feel like Hughie Fury gets a bit too much stick, really. Like, you can't have it either way. If you're going to say that sometimes he's a little bit boring, give him credit when he actually goes in there and lets his hands go, knocks someone out, looks good doing it, who's someone who is not Parker and Povetkin, the other guys he's boxed, but rarely gets stopped and has fought some decent guys. Hughie Fury has jumped in the deep end more times than required, and he's going to jump in again soon, but this time he's going to do it when he's 100% ready. And when you look at the age of Hughie Fury at 26, then you start thinking about, tell me another British heavyweight at that age who
has his resume.
Yeah, and who has boxed at world level and who might go on to challenge for a world title or win a world title. I'm not sure. I know you've got Dubois young, but who else is around that age? And I think he deserves credit. I think it's time that we start giving him plaudits and giving him encouragement, rather than say, oh well, he lost to Parker and he lost to Povetkin and fuck me. These are elite world heavyweights. And I'm excited about him. I am, and I'm going to get him I want to see him fight a top 15 guy on the
what card
Usyk card or on the AJ card.
Okay.
I think, like I said, he trains his nuts off, Hughie. Him and his dad, they absolutely live it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So you should always give credit and respect to people who are living the life and who are out there hustling. Don't matter what they're doing. And they're out there hustling a living, trying to improve, trying to better themselves, trying to hustle their way to a world heavyweight title. Get behind it.
Zach Parker.
Good performance.
Good
Good
performance,
fight. Yeah. I felt that finish could have come a few rounds earlier. It was just a case of building the confidence. Also, he was winning the fight, and I don't think he wanted to take too many chances. But when you finish a fight like that, it goes a long way. Rather than just eking it out on points and looking good. I thought it was a really good fight. I thought it was a good performance, great finish. And he's in a great position. He's got to number one in the WBO. Whether by good wins, by luck, probably a little bit of both. And now he's in a position where he's probably going to end up being mandatory to the winner of Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez. So he's got a long way to go to be able to box at that level, but he's young, he punches hard, and he's a bit of an unknown quantity. And I think as his confidence grows, I think his performances will as well.
Just kind of run me through the highlights of the rest of the card.
Absolute fucking stinker with Anthony Fowler, with his opponent. I mean, I would be pissed off, but when you get a situation where Tuesday, you've got a fighter falls through with a fractured ankle in Jack Flatley, and then you're all around the world, people looking for opponents for you. We had one opponent who came back, said he had a visa, didn't have a visa. We had another opponent whose medicals weren't up to date or available. And then we had Tete, who had been here before, who had boxed John Ryder before on one of our shows. It was a decent kind of Commonwealth level back in the day. I don't know what day that was, because it weren't fucking today. Because one, not only did he not have any grip on his shoes, he was all over the gaff. So disappointing for Fowler, not his fault, obviously. He got out still. I'd still rather that than Fowler's fight fell through. But one of them where it's kind of unavoidable. So a bit of a kick in the nuts.
Fitz next?
Yeah, he may just have a quick run out again. You know, Fitz is going to run out in a 10-rounder on May the 2nd. And July the 18th is the date I've got penciled there. One at the Echo and maybe at Preston Football Club as well. So we've got to decide where we're going to go for that fight. Reshat Mati, good performance. Again, opponent was just about got away with it, but he is 21. Reshat Mati's had 6 fights, take it nice and slow. Good win for Jack Cullen. I thought that was a good performance, and he's going to fight Jason Quigley on the Dillian White card, which is going to be an absolute tear up. Robbie Davis Jr. got the win, trying new things with Ingles. I don't think he was overly pleased with his performance, but you know, first fight under that tuition, he's going to jump into a big fight next. Dalton Smith, good performance. And then the fights as well that were on, not even before Facebook, on Matchroom, before the bell. Enjoyed them. I thought Aki Fayez was really good. Brad Ray, I enjoyed watching him. Ibby, Boxwell's exciting, very young and very raw. Blaine Highland, I enjoyed watching Blaine Highland, like to have him back. So 12 fights, mostly good, couple of stinkers. Feel for Scott Quigg, of course, but John O'Carroll boxed really, really well, and he's got an exciting future ahead of him.
Just finally, next week, what you got going on? You got Wales press conference on Tuesday.
Wales press conference on Tuesday. We got Usyk press conference on Friday. Probably something on Thursday, and then the week after, I think we got the AJ Pulev press conference. Lots of announcements next week, show announcements.
Just speaking to Callum Smith there, obviously he's kind of conceded the fact that...
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, look, we've had a contract from Golden Boy for Billy Joe Saunders. We've gone back with our comments, nothing too major, but we haven't heard back yet, so there's no fight yet, there's no deal, but we expect that to be concluded, and we hope that is. Billy's ready to go. I think they're talking about having a press conference next week. If something went wrong, you never know, Callum could get it, but at this stage you probably feel that Billy's a big favourite to get that, so we've got to put a plan in place for Callum Smith, whether that's Daniel Jacobs, whether that's Chris Eubank Jr., whether that's John Ryder, whether that's Caleb Plant, you know, anything's possible.
It will be a big fight though for Callum Smith.
He has to have a big fight. You know, he wants a big fight. You're only going to see the best out of Callum Smith. Realistically, now that's going to come sort of end of May, early June, and we're going to work on that this week.
Could he feature on one of those U6 Chisora cards with Joshua's card?
Possibly. Could box in Saudi, could box in America. Anything is possible.
Edward Hearn, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.